Salute, salute, salute. Let me know if you can hear me good. As you come in, hit that like, subscribe button if you haven't already, you know. Gotta make sure we good on all technical difficulties around these parts, you know. Gotta get right. That's all. Something slight. All in a day's work, you know. Let me know, chat. Let me know if you can hear me though. So can't nobody hear what I'm saying. Nobody. I don't know. We're gonna make it work. Slowly but surely. I ain't get that joint chafing. Top of the top, top of the top. It is what it is, ain't what it ain't. Welcome to the A Society, my people. We here today. What we got covered. We gotta slide onto this Mexico journey, you know, and to see what's going on. Cause of it's a lot going on. And I'm glad that shit ain't here at a high-end rate. How we gonna do this is we're gonna slide right on over and bust that on down.
What is TubeBuddy? Let's break it down fast. TubeBuddy is used by over 14 million creators to optimize, grow.
Mexico is on high alert.
There we go. Okay, we getting there. Mexico is on high alert, buddy.
I want to add some guitar.
Do you know how to make?
Shanice,
No, of course not.
that shit is white.
What's up, guys? We're here at the airport in Madrid. We're looking for a stranger to finish
Y'all
this
bear
beat.
with
Let's
me
go.
now. We're gonna get to the nits and the grits. All right, here we go. We sliding around the corner when she come, you hear me? Get right on in tune. For those of you who don't
February
know,
22nd,
Mencho is on the
2026,
rise of nothing.
4 a.m., the mountains
They
of
killed
southern Jalisco, Mexico. Somewhere in the
Well,
dark,
Mexico
in
going
a
up.
compound carved into the Sierra, the most wanted drug lord alive is sleeping. Two governments have been hunting him for over a decade. The DEA has a $15 million bounty on his head, one of the largest in the history of American law enforcement. Interpol knows his name. The CIA has drones in the sky above his country. And still, for years, this man has been a ghost. Fewer than 3 confirmed photographs of him exist, all of them decades old. In every intelligence briefing,
He been a ghost. He only got 3 pictures anywhere on the internet. That's some good. Can't go wrong. He was supposed to be like that. Stay out the way.
poster, every classified file, the same grainy image of a man nobody can find. His name is Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes. The world knows him as El Mencho. By sunrise, he will be wounded and bleeding in a military aircraft, dying somewhere above the Mexican highlands. By nightfall, 6 states will be on fire. This is his last 24 hours. (1966), a village buried deep in the mountains of Michoacan, Mexico. No electricity, no paved roads. A place so remote, most maps don't bother naming it. That's where Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes was born.
No electricity, no paved roads. That wasn't even a third world. That was just a country of its own.
On the 17th of July.
They didn't even want to put it on Google Maps.
Never made it past the 5th grade. By the time other kids were learning to read, he was in the fields picking avocados under the Michoacan sun, one of 6 brothers in a family that had nothing. This was Tierra Caliente, the hot land, a region where the 2 things that grow best are avocados and organized crime.
Yep.
He left before he was 20, crossed the border illegally into California. No papers, no plan, just hunger. 1986, San Francisco. A teenager gets picked up by police. Stolen property, a loaded firearm. The booking photo shows a kid who looks barely old enough to shave. Not a kingpin, not a threat, just another undocumented migrant caught in the wrong place. They deported him. He came back. 1989, arrested again, narcotics this time. Deported again. He came back again. By September of 1992, he was 26 years old and moving low-level heroin in the Bay Area.
He wasn't gonna let up. He wasn't gonna let the states keep him from nowhere. He say, nah, nah, buddy. You can't hold me from there, buddy. I got things to do, buddy.
With his older brother, Abraham. One night, the 2 brothers walked into the Imperial Bar on San Francisco's rough edge of the Tenderloin to close a deal. 5 ounces of heroin, $9,500. The buyers paid in clean bills, too clean, too neat, stacked perfectly the way real street money never is. Nemesio noticed. He told Abraham,
too clean,
these men are
too
cops.
Neat. They the
Walk
police.
away. He was right. It was already too late. 3 weeks later, federal agents arrested both brothers on drug trafficking charges. In court, Nemesio made the choice that would define everything that followed. Abraham already carried 2 felony convictions. A third would likely mean life. So Nemesio pleaded guilty,
Shout out to the ASAP
took
in the
the
building,
weight,
Miss Jess in
protected
the building,
his
Miss
brother.
Mel.
He told the court by all accounts to give him the
doing?
minimum. She gave him 5 years. He served 3 at Big Spring Correctional Center in West Texas, a federal prison built.
Hope everything's going good on your end. I appreciate that. You didn't have to, Miss Mel. That was for, for the grouping activities. But you touched my soul. Thank you, lady.
House undocumented immigrants. 1997, deported back to Mexico, 31 years old, convicted felon, banned from the United States for life. Most men in that position disappear into the margins. Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes did something nobody saw coming. He became a cop, joined the local police force in Cabo Corrientes and Tomatlan, Jalisco, wore the uniform, carried the badge. DEA Special Agent Kyle Morey, who would later lead the American investigation from Los Angeles, understood exactly what that period meant. Mencho wasn't rehabilitated.
So he went to do the deal on his 4th or 5th time back into the States, being deported after deportation after deportation. And while he was in the deal, counting the money, looking at the money, he looked and noticed that the bills were too straight. All the money was brand new, and the bills were too straight. Everything was in order, too much in order. So that's when he knew that he was dealing with the police. But after the fact, he told his brother, and then 2 weeks later, they got captured.
He was studying, learning how law enforcement thought, how it moved, how it could be bought. every shift was intelligence. He left the force, joined the Millennial Cartel as a sicario.
The sicarios.
When Sinaloa Capo Nacho Coronel was killed in 2010, and Millennial leader Oscar Valencia was arrested.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI.
The structure fractured. El Mencho didn't fracture with it. He declared war on Sinaloa and partnered with his wife's family, the Gonzalez Valencia money laundering network, and built something entirely new.
One thing about the culture, I can say, they keep it in the family. They keep within the family, you know? His primo go spend with his primo, his brother gonna spend with his brother, his auntie go, you know? It's like, people say, it's 17 of them staying in one house. Yeah, but I bet you 9 times out of 10, every last one of them working every day, getting paid every day. Well, I would say weekly, bi-weekly, however it go. But they on the come up, and that's what it's about. A lot of people can't justify, or they don't have the means to justify because of the fact that they can't understand why. But that's the reason why. And in two years, you'll see all of them driving big trucks, big wheels. After that fact, they're getting some properties. Everybody, it's all for the countdown. It's all for the countdown.
From the wreckage. He called it the Jalisco New Generation Cartel. CJNG, within a decade, it had presence in all 50 American states and more than 40 countries. By 2019, the DEA assessed El Mencho's cartel was moving at least 1/3 of all drugs entering the United States. His personal net worth, at minimum $500 million, potentially over $1 billion. The Mexican government estimated CJNG's total asset
at minimum
at $50 billion.
At minimum, 500 million, upwards towards the billions. But see, that's just an estimation of. They don't know. They just guess it. They don't know.
In February 2025, the Trump administration designated it a foreign terrorist organization. The avocado picker from Michoacan had built a narco empire that outranked most countries' economies, and nobody could find him.
Chat, if you're in here, hit that thumbs up for me one time. Double tap that screen. It's free. It don't cost you nothing. Just asking for the
El
little favor
Chapo
one time for
wanted to be a legend. He gave interviews to Sean Penn in the jungle. He had corridos written about him. He wore his name like a crown. El Mencho wanted to be invisible. No interviews, no photographs, no public appearances. In over a decade, as the most wanted man in the Western Hemisphere, fewer than 3 confirmed images of him exist. All of them old, all of them grainy. The only time the public ever heard.
This man only had 3 lifetime pictures. All of them old, all of them grainy. Gosh almighty. That's how you're supposed to do it. Stay out the way, babes.
Voice was through leaked audio recordings, expletive-filled messages sent to rivals, threats delivered from a face nobody could see. Organized crime expert Edgardo Buscaglia of Columbia University put it plainly. El Mencho's Jalisco New Generation Cartel was one of the biggest buyers of politicians and political campaigns, which has given it an enormous social base. Power without visibility. That was the strategy. He moved constantly through the Sierras of Jalisco, Michoacan, Colima, and Nayarit, never sleeping in the same location for long. Around him, 2 rings of security, an inner circle of former military mercenaries, an outer.
I wonder what was his longest stay at each one. He was just going from house to house, village to village, city to city. He was moving at a high rate of sonic speed. Like they were trying to check on his car warranty. We're looking for you, my friend. We're looking for you.
Of lookouts spread across the mountain roads, watching for anything that moved. For years, it worked. Then came the violence that made hiding harder. May 2015, Mexican Army forces launched a military operation in Jalisco. El Mencho's men responded by firing a rocket-propelled grenade at an Army helicopter, blowing it out of the sky. He bought himself time to disappear into the Sierra. In a single 6-week stretch that same year, CJNG killed 24 police officers across western Mexico, not as a battle, as a message.
Now think about it, chat. They ban rocket launchers, shooting military out the sky, killing police when they want to. At an all-time high, it's like they control the city. They control the town. When it comes to the Mexico and Mexican, how can I say this? Put this in a nice way without, because when it comes to the Mexican people of wherever they're from, they run the city. The gangsters, they run the city. The government, they do what they do, but outside of that, they can't control them at all, 0%.
Years later, he sent a bigger one. June 26, 2020, 7 a.m. Mexico City. On Reforma Avenue, one of the most famous boulevards in Latin America, a convoy of CJNG gunmen ambushed Mexico City Police Chief Omar Garcia Harfuch. Grenades, high-powered rifles. Harfuch took 3 bullets. 2 bodyguards and a civilian bystander were killed.
EVE to me is basically freedom. It's a giant open universe where you can do whatever you want.
He survived. From his hospital bed, still bloodied, Harfuch posted on Twitter and named CJNG directly. He recovered. He didn't forget. By 2026, Omar Garcia Harfuch was Mexico's Secretary of Security. The man El Mencho tried to kill was now the man coordinating the operation to kill him. When news broke that El Mencho was dead, Harfuch posted a single line on X: "Our recognition to the Mexican Army and Air Force." No speech, no triumph, just 4 words, 6 years of waiting compressed into 1 sentence. While El Mencho was making enemies, his body was betraying him. As early as 2019, Mexican intelligence had confirmed he was suffering from serious kidney failure. Kidney disease doesn't care how many soldiers you...
So he must have felt like he was already going down for the count. So it wasn't no turn back. It wasn't no helping this, that, and the third. He was on a mission. A lot of these young whippersnappers don't even understand the great deal that they put themselves in when they want to sip this lean and that lean and pop this pill and pop that pill. Yeah, you're going to fuck around and find out today is not the day at all.
Man, it demands treatment, dialysis, medication, constant monitoring. In the mountains, that's not easy to manage quietly.
At all.
His solution was to build a private hospital deep inside CJNG-controlled territory in the remote village of El Alcihuatl in the municipality of Villa Purificación, roughly 50 kilometers from the nearest town. He constructed a medical facility for his personal use.
He had the money to do it.
As recently as February 2025, Mexico's security secretary publicly confirmed the kidney disease was ongoing. Here is the question that investigators would have been asking. Kidney treatment creates a schedule. A schedule creates patterns. Patterns can be tracked. Whether that is how they ultimately found him has never been officially confirmed, but it is the thread that intelligence agencies were pulling. By 2022, Insight Crime reported he hadn't been seen in years. Splinter factions were claiming he was already dead. The cartel was fracturing at the edges. And then, in the 15 months before his death, his family disappeared, one by one. November 2024, his son-in-law, El Gaucho, arrested in Riverside, California, a man El Mencho had personally helped fake his own death to protect. February 27, 2025, his brother Antonio known as El Tony Montana, extradited to the United States. 1 day later, February 28th, his brother Abraham, Don Rodo, was recaptured by the Mexican army. The same Abraham he had gone to federal prison to protect in 1992. March 2025, his son, El Menchito, sentenced to life plus 30 years in U.S. federal court, ordered to forfeit over $6 billion. February 2025, his wife, Rosalinda, released from Mexican prison and immediately placed under surveillance every person who knew his location, every person who held his money, every person who could find him in the mountains, arrested, extradited, or watched. By February 2026, he was the last one standing.
So basically, they picked him apart, slowly but surely. Took all his family members. Everybody got up out of there. His close associates, everybody that knew him, anybody that held a dollar for him, did anything for him, spent the dollar for him. They wanted to dissect this man bit by bit to get him out in the woodwork so that they could rampage his sections of his whereabouts because of the fact that he was on dialysis. So they said that it created a pattern in which that does because of the fact that that treatment has to be done ever so often. He wanted to build a hospital, but they didn't have that all the way integrated into fashion and into stone. But even still with that, it still created a form of detailed whereabouts because he had to get it done. And also they knew that his liver was failing. So they picked him apart slowly but surely, bit by bit, to get him to come out in the forefront.
And he was sick. And he was alone.
All by himself.
December 2024. The United States Department of State quietly raised the reward for information, leading to El Mencho's capture from $10 million to $15 million. It was the largest narco bounty in active circulation. Somewhere in the mountains of Jalisco, the price on his head had just gone up 50%. Nobody came forward, not yet. January 2026. Washington announced the formal launch of the Joint Interagency Task Force Counter Cartel, a U.S. military-led intelligence unit with a single operational mandate: map cartel networks on both sides of the border and dismantle their leadership. El Mencho sat at the very top of their target list. What was happening in the background was more significant than any press release.
They wanted him bad.
According to Reuters, the CIA had been conducting secret drone flights over Mexican territory, feeding real-time intelligence on cartel movements to Mexican forces. A former U.S. official told Reuters that the United States had compiled what intelligence agencies call a target package for El Mencho, a dossier combining law enforcement intelligence, signals intelligence, and human intelligence, and handed it directly to the Mexican government. This wasn't cooperation. This was a coordinated hunt. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum was caught in a bind she couldn't escape. Throughout her political career, she had publicly criticized the kingpin strategy, the doctrine of targeting and eliminating cartel bosses. Her argument was straightforward and backed by history.
Parents of children who play Roblox. If your child was sexually exploited, abused, or pressured to share explicit content by someone they...
Decapitation doesn't kill a cartel, it fractures it. And a fractured cartel produces more violence, not less. She had said this publicly, repeatedly, but the Trump administration was applying pressure that Mexico could not easily absorb. Tariff threats, military posturing, diplomatic ultimatums. El Mencho had become political currency, the trophy that would prove Mexico was serious about its side of the border. The trap was set, and the operation moved forward. Now, Tapalpa. If you look at Tapalpa on a map, it reads like a postcard. A small colonial mountain town 2 hours southwest of Guadalajara. White stone churches, pine forests, cobblestone streets, a weekend escape for wealthy tapatillos, the kind of place Nearly a decade before the operation, the U.S. Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control sanctioned specific CJNG businesses operating in Tapalpa. Among them, a rental cabin operation identified as a front for cartel money. El Mencho's organization had roots in that town for 10 years. He wasn't hiding there randomly. He was hiding there because he had always been there. By the evening of February 21st, 2026, Mexican Army Special Forces had confirmed intelligence placing El Mencho in the Tapalpa area. The operation was authorized at the highest levels of both governments. Soldiers were moving into position before midnight. Here is what we don't know and what may never be confirmed. We don't know how they found him. Was it a human informant? Someone who decided $15 million was worth more than loyalty to a dying boss? Was it signals intelligence, a phone, a radio, a pattern of communications that broke his cover? Was it the medical treatment? Dialysis doesn't happen in the dark. Equipment moves, people talk. Was it someone from his inner circle? Someone arrested, someone pressured, someone who chose survival over silence?
All of the above.
The Mexican Ministry of Defense has not said. The CIA has not said. Nobody has said. What we know is this: the objective.
And I don't think they are going to say anything. Because if they say anything, if it was somebody that told on them, whoever told on them, that little $15 million ain't going to hold them down for that long, because they're going to end up on a postcard, on a T-shirt, somebody. They're going to be planning a funeral for that one, whoever said whatever they said. So it's best that they keep all details to themselves. That's what they need to do.
The record from the official statement of Mexico's Ministry of Defense was to capture him alive. They planned to take him breathing. That is not what happened. Sunday, February 22nd, 2026, before sunrise, Tapalpa, Jalisco, Mexican Army Special Forces moved in from multiple positions simultaneously. National Guard units held the perimeter. Mexican Air Force assets were overhead. Intelligence personnel from the Attorney General's office were embedded in the operation. This was not a raid improvised in the field. This was months of preparation, converging on a single point in the dark. The moment troops breached the compound, CJNG fighters opened fire. What followed was a sustained firefight in the Sierra. 4 CJNG operatives were killed at the scene. 2 were arrested. 3 others were gravely wounded. Among them, the man the operation had been built to find. When the shooting stopped, soldiers moved through the compound. Armored vehicles, rocket launchers capable of bringing down aircraft, heavy arms stockpiled in the mountains like a small army's arsenal. And in the wreckage of the firefight, wounded and in custody, Nemesio Ruben Oseguera Cervantes, El Mencho, finally in the hands of the Mexican state. 3 members of the Mexican Armed Forces.
One thing about it, 2 things for certain. Their names gonna be longer than the motherfucker. Oh, bullshit. El Guaro Lajaro.
Exchange. Standard protocol for a capture of this magnitude meant one thing: transfer immediately to Mexico City. A military aircraft was prepared. El Mencho, wounded, bleeding, was loaded aboard. The plan was federal custody, interrogation, the full weight of the Mexican justice system. He never arrived.
He was already dying.
Somewhere above the mountains of Jalisco, en route to the capital, Nemesio Oseguera Cervantes died from his wounds. The man who had spent over a decade evading every government on earth died in the air, in the custody of the army he had spent years humiliating. The man who shot down a military helicopter with a rocket-propelled grenade to escape the Mexican army in 2015 was transported by the Mexican army's own aircraft. He didn't make it off the plane.
Nope.
In Mexico City, Omar Garcia Harfoot, the man.
I haven't been to the grocery store in over a year, but I'm eating healthier than ever. Here's how I did it. Meal planning used to be such a nightmare. The endless grocery lists, finding nutritious recipes, and
man CJNG had shot 3 times on Reformer Avenue in 2020, opened his phone and posted 4 words on X, our recognition to the Mexican Army and Air Force. No speech, no press conference, no photograph. Just 4 words from the man who had waited 6 years for this day.
What 4
then
words? 'Cause what
Mexico
you just said
started
was more than
burning.
4 words, my
Within
buddy.
hours, CJNG unleashed coordinated violence across 6 states. 21 highway blockades ignited across Jalisco alone by 3 in the afternoon. Vehicles set ablaze across Jalisco, Michoacán, Colima, Tamaulipas, Guanajuato, and Aguascalientes. Governor Pablo Lemus Navarro activated a code red state of emergency. Public transport suspended, schools canceled, civilians ordered to stay home. Guadalajara went silent. A city of 5 million people scheduled to host FIFA World Cup matches in June 2026 became a ghost town in an afternoon. Then gunmen entered the international airport. Travelers abandoned their luggage and ran through the terminals. Delta, Alaska, American Airlines, Southwest, and Air Canada canceled all flights to Puerto Vallarta and Guadalajara.
They showed up better cancel all the flights. Nobody going there. Who the hell want to go there at this time of day, this time of night, with everything that's going on? Nah, not I. Not I.
Prison riot broke out in Puerto Vallarta. A jail guard was killed. The U.S. State Department issued a shelter-in-place advisory for American citizens in Jalisco, Tamaulipas, Michoacán, Guerrero, and Nuevo León. From Washington, White House spokesperson Caroline Leavitt confirmed that U.S. intelligence had provided support to the Mexican government. Deputy Secretary of State Christopher Landau called El Mencho one of the bloodiest and most ruthless drug kingpins in history, then added, "The good guys are stronger than the bad guys."
And that reads, I've just been informed that the Mexican security forces have killed El Mencho, one of the bloodiest and most ruthless drug kingpins. This is great development for Mexico, the U.S., Latin America, and the world. The good guys are stronger than the bad guys. Los buenos somos más que los malos. The rest of it is in Spanish. If you can read it, you got it.
Kingpins in history, then added, "The good guys are stronger than the bad guys." In Guadalajara, the streets were empty and the fires were still burning. Claudia Sheinbaum had been saying it for years. The kingpin strategy doesn't work. Cutting off the head of a cartel doesn't kill the body. It multiplies it. You remove one leader and 3 more emerge from the wreckage, each more ruthless than the last,
one,
each fighting to claim the territory left behind.
Yep.
She said it before she took office. She said it after. She built her security philosophy around the idea that chasing individual names was theater, not policy. On February 22nd, 2026, under sustained pressure from the Trump administration to produce visible results on drug trafficking, President Claudia Sheinbaum authorized the operation that produced the biggest kingpin kill in the history of the Western Hemisphere. Her public statement that day was careful. She applauded the military. She called for calm. She emphasized that the rest of the country was functioning normally. She did not call it an assassination. The official position was precise. It was a capture operation that turned fatal, a legal, procedural distinction that mattered enormously to her government. By midnight, every news channel in the world was broadcasting footage of burning highways, empty airport terminals, and a ghost city that was supposed to host the FIFA World Cup in 4 months. The president who said killing cartel leaders was wrong had just overseen
I don't know. That's still gonna go down with the FIFA World Cup. They might move that somewhere else. They're going on a rampage, buddy.
The killing of the biggest cartel leader alive. And she was watching her own warning come true in real time on every screen in the country before the night was over. The question that follows is the one nobody can answer yet. What happens to CJNG?
New Year, same goal. Keep your sound original. Meet Co-Producer, a plugin that finds samples that fit your music fast.
Analysts broadly agree on one thing: it survives. El Mencho built a deliberately decentralized structure, regional cells operating with significant autonomy, designed specifically so that no single arrest or death could collapse the whole. The organization is too embedded, too diversified, too global to simply stop existing because its founder is dead.
One person? That doesn't mean
Vonda Felbaugh Brown of the Brookings Institution put it plainly. Apart from the heads of the Sinaloa cartel, El Mencho has been the biggest prize for many years. A tremendous amount of violence is going to happen. One name has surfaced in intelligence reports as a potential successor: Abraham Jesus Ambriz Cano, known as El Yogurt. 29 years old, a Michoacan operator who commands a CJNG Special Forces cell linked directly to El Mencho's personal protection unit. He survived a major Mexican Navy raid in 2025 and has allegedly incorporated former Colombian and Guatemalan military personnel into his operation. This is not officially confirmed. It is the name being spoken quietly in the places where these things are discussed. The historical parallel is one your viewers already know. When Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was captured, the Sinaloa cartel did not collapse. It fractured. Factions turned on each other. Violence surged into the vacuum. The removal of the man created a war over what the man had controlled. CJNG, with operations across 40 countries and 50 American states, has considerably more vacuum to fight over, which brings it back to the beginning, to a bar in San Francisco, 1992, a 26-year-old man standing in front of a federal judge, choosing to absorb a prison sentence to protect his older brother Abraham, choosing loyalty over freedom, walking into Big Spring Correctional Center in West Texas so that one person he loved would not spend his life behind bars. 33 years later, one of the final moves of the intelligence operation closing around El Mencho was the recapture of that same brother, Abraham Don Rodo, seized by the Mexican army on February 28, 2025. The brother he had gone to prison to protect, the brother who, in the end, could not protect him. He started with nothing: a village with no roads, a 5th grade education, avocado fields in Michoacan. He built an empire that stretched across 40 countries, moved a third of the drugs entering the United States, and made 2 governments spend a decade and $15 million trying to find him. He went to prison for his brother, and in the mountains of Jalisco at dawn on a Sunday morning in February, it ended the way it always ends for men like him. In a firefight he couldn't escape.
That's for the next video. Y'all gonna have to catch that one in probably about like 35, 45 minutes. But yeah, chat, back on that. I don't understand. They did a lot to catch the man. And that's what they was looking forward to. So everything was put to a stop and everything was put to a halt. After that, let me get this, pull this CNN up for y'all right quick. Right. Fights from the area. U.S. Embassy, stranded American tourists. There we go. That's what I was looking for. See if y'all can view this. Okay. Right there. Stranded American tourists say that they were struggling to get food. Los Angeles resident Natalie Baer, who was visiting Puerto Vallarta with her boyfriend, told CNN the couples were struggling to find food after violence broke out in the city on Sunday. Baer was shocked to wake up and see clouds of smoke and cartels wreaking havoc in the city after the military raid that targeted the drug lord known as El Mencho. Baer and her partner are staying at a boutique hotel that does not have a restaurant, and with the city closed down, we're struggling to find food. We had no food, absolutely nothing besides 2 oranges. And then we also got tips from the neighbors, but otherwise starving all day. All restaurants and markets were closed. The following day, they managed to find a place that was serving food, but said they queued for 2 hours along with the hungry people. I was able to get tortillas from there and canned corn. Oh yeah, he was all right with the tortillas and canned corn. I would have made something out of nothing. Baer shared images and videos of some of the damages in the area she took while driving in her rental car, including burnt out buses, cars, and a damaged gas station. Whoa. Oh yeah. That's a bus. All the way down to the T, to the bones. She said the couple were hoping to fly out to Puerto Vallarta on Tuesday. I just hope that this was just one-time thing for Puerto Vallarta, that it can continue to thrive, she said. I mean, it can continue to thrive, babe, but all in all, it's not going down right now at all. It's not. It's not. So y'all just need to hold on, get up out of there. You want this city to thrive, baby, you just need to go home. You and your partner need to go home, chillax, get y'all some Wendy's, and be thankful and blessed that y'all could do so, because of the fact that if they wanted to, they could have binged you. Chat, I appreciate you. Everybody that came through, slid through, sat with me for the time being. We're going to get into something else in probably about the next 30 minutes or so. Let me just get my refresh on, get me some water up in me, and then I'm going to be going live again in the next like 30 minutes, 45 minutes, I say, on something, on a different subject. If you haven't already, tap that like, subscribe. The channel just going to be going up. Once I build up, chat, I'm going to be looking for mods, getting mods, but I'm going to be paying my mods, like, because that is work. Modding on a channel, especially with channel with growth, that is work. A lot of work. So be on the lookout for that. Giveaways real soon. 500. Once I reach 500 subscribers, I'm going to be doing a mega giveaway. Then 1,000, another mega giveaway. And we just going to grow from there, chat. So everybody stay on the lookout. I appreciate y'all for staying here, staying with me. It's been something, you know, something slight. We getting there. We working towards the goal. The goal is just to keep growing. The A Society, we just going to keep growing. That's all. It's all in a day's work. Y'all have been much more than, you know, thanks for hanging with the kid. Thanks for hanging with the kid. Because without you, without y'all, there is no me. I just want to get that out of the way. A lot of people forget that without your subscribers and without people tuning into you, you have nothing. So always keep that dear to heart and always know that. Because that's what's going to keep you moving, motivated, you know, and strong. So For all the aces and the ASETs in the building, appreciate you. And always remember, we don't fold, we ace. Appreciate y'all. It's been one of those.